Next up, we got Priest. Starting with Undying Allies, 0 mana shadow spell. After you play an undead this turn, give it Reborn. And that is play, not summon. You have to spend the mana to cast it.
So this kind of reminds me of the 1 mana card that gave your minion Reborn for Priest in the past. Wasn't a specific undead. You could play it on a minion currently in play. It was a Paladin card, and pretty much I was the only person who ever ran it because I ran it for Veil Weaver, and I ran it for those 4/5 taunts in Cube Priest. So
it was a cheap targeted spell.
Yeah.
This sucks, right? Like you're never playing.
Well, if I have a really powerful undead minion with like a powerful death rattle, this is insane, right?
That's a series of very big ifs.
Well, I want to see those ifs, so maybe let's skip over. I mean, I'm gonna skip over this one and see what the other priest undead cards are, because like if there's like a Kartut defender that doesn't already have Reborn, and I play this, and then it's like, you know, let's say I could play this on P Elemental, that'd be pretty good, you know. So
yeah, shame it's not an undead. All right, we'll leave you blank for now. Move forward.
All right.
Next up, we got Animate Dead. 1 mana, shadow spell, resurrect a friendly minion that costs 3 or less.
So yeah, I mean, this is like you run in your injured Tolver. Oh, I love these kind of cards. You run in your injured Tolver and Wager deck. I mean, this is like Psycho Pump, but no Reborn, right?
Well,
but it's 1 mana.
Things this is. In an aggressive Shadow Priest, this is a minion that is just a shadow spell as well, which activates your synergy.
Okay.
So I'm going to say something, and you're probably going to think I'm crazy, but there's Scourge Rager. There's hypothetical Rager Priest involved here.
Yeah, I was thinking about Rager Priest as well. I think this is, you know, you do this all, you get a 5/4 reward. That's it for 1 mana. That's insane. So
Scourge Rager was actually pre-nerfed. It was a 5/5. They nerfed it to a 5/4.
That means they tested it.
And then there's also Radiant Elemental. Where if Radiant Elemental is your only cheap minion that's died, this can be Radiant Elementals, which has some implications for the Mage Legendary as well.
So I don't know what the crazy combo is, but this card I think could be so good. I'm gonna give it a 4. You've convinced me. Right, I was in 3 world, but like there's just so much potential with this card, you know. Yeah, so
this can make an entirely new deck.
Could bring back Millhouse. So yeah, that sounds pretty good, dude. Right.
Or you can bring back, I don't know, the Injured Tolvier. There you go.
Yeah.
Next up, Crystal Smith Cultist. 1 mana, 1/2, Battle Cry. If you're holding a shadow spell, gain +1/+1. Another aggressive shadow minion support.
Yeah, do I run this in the aggro Shadow Priest?
Yeah, sure. And Animate Dead's a shadow spell, so you have more useful shadow spells in the deck to activate this energy. That's nice.
But then I revive a 1/2, so it's like...
Yeah, but that's fine. How much more do you want out of a 1 mana spell? Sometimes it's a 1/2.
Does this make the cut in Wild? That's what I want to know. If it doesn't, then I'm going to give it a 1.
This would probably make a cut in Wild, I'm thinking. 1 mana, 2/3.
So, yeah, I guess you know, you have pirates, and okay, I'll give it 2. So
I'm on a 3 for this, but I don't know if Shadow Priest will be that good. The aggressive variety, anyway. Next up, we got Mind Eater. 2 mana, 3/2 undead. Death Rattle. Add a copy of a card in your opponent's deck to your hand. There's a Reborn target for you.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
And it just like you run this in Thief Priest just because it's like a. I mean, people run the 1/1 in Thief Priest. This is Death Rattle, so it's a little more annoying in that way. But like.
And it is undead, which is.
Oh, it's undead synergies.
It's a little synergistic.
I'll just give it a 2 and call it a day. Make my life easier than trying to figure out. All right.
Next up, Haunting Nightmare. 3 mana, 3/3 undead. Death Rattle. Haunt a card in your hand. When you play that card, summon a 3/3 soldier, which is just a regular 3/3. Nothing else about it.
I think this is like so hard to use and so slow and so awkward. Like
it is technically like a 6/6 worth of stats, but yeah, it's also very slow.
And so if I'm playing it in an aggro deck, well, it's going to be often my opponent's not going to kill it. And if I'm playing in a control deck, why do I want this 3/3 soldier? It's not like does the soldier even have taunt? It doesn't even have taunt. Like, I think it's just a 1. It's just garbage in all situations.
Yeah, it doesn't seem very good to me. I'm kind of.
I mean, I guess you give it. I mean, it's okay on these revive things. So maybe I don't know.
I don't even know if it's that good on the revive stuff.
Yeah, I said it's okay. Like, it's better than reviving this guy. But yeah, so I don't. Yeah, okay. So
all right, I'll give a 1 for that. Next up, Bonecaller. 4 mana, 2/4 taunt, Death Rattle. Resurrect a friendly undead that died this game.
this is really good, right?
It does seem pretty good.
I mean, it's not Cycle Pump, so it doesn't happen immediately, but it does have taunt and good stat line. I mean, these kind of things are really, really annoying in a world. So if silence isn't currently a big part of the meta, but if it was, like these, that's what's hard about, like, when these decks get good, they're so counterable. But I don't know. This card seems really good. I'll give it a 3. I'm not sure I'm convinced on 4, but
I'm right there with you on a 3. It could make its own deck, or it could completely flop.
Yeah,
it's going to do one of those two things.
Yeah, I mean, if you have, you run your Ragers. I mean, you could just run Ragers as your own. I don't know. I mean, anything you get off, like, you get off this guy, and then you play this, and you just get more and more value for your Thief Priest, and you have good tempo plays instead of bad tempo plays, which seems nice. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see where it's at. 3 seems about right for now.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Grave Digging. 4 mana Shadow Spell, draw 2 cards. Costs 1 if a friendly undead died after your last turn. So if your opponent killed one, or you trade one in this turn, you reduce Grave Digging to 1.
That seems really good, right? Just like 1 mana, draw 2 in an undead deck.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah, I'm not maybe not a 4, but I'll give it a 3.
Yeah, just because the undead condition can be sometimes a little bit of a pain in the ass to use.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's kind of neat because there's also our Spirit Guide. Spirit Guide is going to be undead. So you could have this 5 mana 5/5 with Taunt and Death Rattle. It tutors up a Shadow Spell, and the Shadow Spell can be reduced by the Spirit Guide dying, which is neat.
Okay.
Grave Digging's pretty good. And next up, we got High Cultist Basalif. 5 mana 3/5 legendary. Battlecry, resurrect all friendly undead that died after your last turn. More Rager Priest support.
Yeah, so if you have like a 5/4 Rager, and they kill it, leave the 5/1, and then you trade this, you get 2 Ragers back, right?
Or if they kill the 5/4 and the 5/1, yeah, you also get 2 Ragers back. 2 5/4 Reborns.
Yeah. That's so annoying.
I know. It's a very difficult card to evaluate.
But like, but this is just like you play it after your opponent clears your board and your undead priest, and then they're like, "Screw you, Nerf priest." That's what I feel like. I'm gonna give this a 4. So,
all right,
I'm pretty excited about this card.
Yeah, I'll go for a 3. But yeah, it could also make its own deck. It's a very weird one.
Yeah, I mean,
next up,
it's okay.
Shadow Word Undeath. 5 mana Shadow Spell. Deal 2 damage to all enemies. If a friendly undead died after your last turn, deal 2 more. This does go face.
I don't know. I know this is kind of like Holy Nova, but better with the old Holy Nova. But
this can be 5 mana, deal 4 to everything on your opponent's side, including them. And it's a Shadow Spell.
Yeah.
How good is that in an aggro Shadow Priest?
Yeah, I guess if you're aggro, having one of these cards to like your opponent's starting to fight back and you just run over them, maybe it is good. I don't know. I originally was
it's all about the undead condition. The card is very powerful. Can we make the condition work? And the undeads are kind of a pain in the ass to use.
Yeah. Like, my instinct was 1, and I'm wondering if I'm wrong, but.
Well, it can be like a 1 or a 3 or a 4, probably. It can be really terrible or really good. I'm going to go with a 3. I'll give it some belief.
Okay, I feel like this undead archetype looks really good, so I'll give it a 3. So
A lot of stuff. Next up, Sister Svlana. Svlana? Whatever. Sister Valna. 6 mana, 6/6 undead. Battlecry permanently add a Visions of Darkness to your hand. Visions of Darkness being a 3 mana shadow spell that discovers a shadow spell, and the Visions of Darkness stays in your hand.
Wait, so I basically get a free hero power discover card. It's not very efficient because it's 3 mana, but
3 mana stays in your hand permanently. But what happens when you have 3 Radiant Elementals in play?
oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy. Oh.
Discover a shadow spell. The Animate Dead is a shadow spell. So you can discover.
So you can use this endless
deads.
value. You could use this for ridiculous combos.
Yep. And you can also discover void shards to kill people too.
Yeah. I mean it's very, though it is inefficient without the radiant. But the value lovers in the chat just...
I think this can make a whole new deck.
Yeah, I mean,
you have like maybe 5 minions.
You could also plop this in your Shadow Priest as your late game finisher. So you're running out of stuff because that deck runs out of stuff like crazy. And you draw this card, and now you just hero power, discover void shards, and now they have to get on board and kill you and not just control the board. You know. Because you're just going to get all this burn.
You could maybe consistently win with turn 7 with this deck. Where you play 3 to 5 minions. 2 Radiants, 1 of these, and then maybe Spirit Guides, maybe Zarella. You got to figure out that mix. And your switcheroos to 2 to them out. And then what you do, you play this on 6, get the card in your hand, turn 7. You play Radiant, you... I think it's called Penance. 3 mana, deal 3 to a minion, honorable kill, summon a 3/3 copy of it. You play 2 Radiants, you kill one of your own Radiants for 1 mana. Then you Animate Dead for 0, and then you have Visions of Darkness going off for 0. Which
Animate Dead for 0?
Yep, because the Radiants reduce it.
Oh, yeah, so you only have the low cost, yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah.
And so you can keep Visions of Darknessing and cycling through your shadow spells until you find some combinations of Animate Deads to pop off again next turn, or enough Void Shards to kill the opponent.
Yeah. And you get 1 mana Void Shards too, so...
1 or 0 if you discover another Animate Dead for another Radiant for 4.
Oh
Radiants.
yeah, good point.
Yep.
All right, so this is cool. Yeah, it's 4.
Yep, 4 for me. This kind of has Topsy Priest written all over it for me. If you remember that deck with Lab.
I do remember. I had to beat. It was my final boss for winning ACT Philadelphia. So yeah.
All right, I think it's a whole new deck, and that brings us to Rogue. Starting off with Shadow of Demise. Legendary spell, no mana cost, Shadow. Each time you cast a spell, transform this into a copy of that spell. So if you remember the old Valera the Hollow card that you got, this is that card.
But it's one-time use.
One-time use.
Do people think, is this good? I mean, it's only a spell, right? So you can't use it on double minions as well.
You can't use this on minions like you could with Valera, but you can use this on spells.
Why does everyone think this card is so good? I'm not convinced.
So it's an extra Shadow Step, it's an extra Shadow Strike, it's an extra Wicked Stab, it's an extra Contraband.
But you have to use that Shadow Step. I mean, it's kind of as the next card you use, right? So you can't like hold the Shadow Step, Yeah,
you got Ghostly Strikes, you got Gone Fishing. It's more of every spell that every Rogue card wants to play. Every Rogue deck wants to play.
Oh, so it's versatile. Okay.
Another Tooth, another, I don't know, anything.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's just one of those cards that probably goes into almost every Rogue deck until it rotates. It's like a school teacher in a weird sort of way.
I'll give it a 3 for versatility, but I'm not convinced it's broken. So I think
it's not like broken power level. It's really good.
It's more super versatile. I'm getting convinced, but I'm not convinced it's like there's a difference between like versatile cards that are good enough in tons of text but aren't broken versus cards that are broken in the decks that they run. So yeah, I
don't think it's broken, but I think it's good.
Okay.
Next up, we got Concoctor. 1 mana, 1/2, Battlecry, add a random concoction to your hand. So, explaining how concoction works, there are 5 concoctions, they all cost 3 mana. 1 does 3 damage, 1 is a deadly shot, 1 adds a card to your hand from another class and it costs 3 less, 1 summons a random 3-drop, and 1 draws 2 cards. When you have 2 regular concoctions in your hand, they kind of zombie stitch themselves together, but they retain their mana cost. So if you have 2 draw 2 cards for 3, they combine into 1 draw 4 for 3.
Yep.
Or draw 2 and deal 3 damage for 3, and so on.
Yeah, it seems. I mean, this card seems not only concoctions seem good, but this is the Pharaoh Cats of like, but better. Like, so I think it's a 4. So
yep, I'm on there with a 4. Great with Graveyard and Shadow Step and Edwin and all this other fun stuff. If you're Maestra and you play this, this will give you a rogue card in your hand, which discounts the nulls. I think it's just going to go in a lot of different rogue decks forever until it rotates. Seems good. Next up, Ghostly Strike. 1 mana. Deal 1 damage. Combo. Draw a card.
It's like a 3, right? It's like useful in a lot of like the current rogue deck, Miracle Rogue, just because it doesn't cost value.
It's just going to be really fun to play, really satisfying.
It's kind of like, I mean, it's kind of like the old 2 mana card, but half the mana cost, right? So, but
yes, it's slightly conditional. It's a 1 mana Shiv.
Yeah. So okay.
But it's again just probably going to go in pretty much every rogue deck until it rotates, which is great. Love it. 3 is appropriate power for that. Next up, Ghoulish Alchemist. 2 mana, 3/2, undead. Battlecry, your next concoction costs 0.
So many concoctions as related cards.
Importantly, this is your next, not your next this turn.
Yeah, that's so you can just play it on 2. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
I'll give it 4.
Ooh.
I mean, like,
I'll go 3 on it, but yes, it does seem quite good because you can play this, set it up for a big graveyard turn, or whatever you're doing with it. Just play it because it's in play, and then you have more mana to use next turn. Play Concoctor on 1, play this on 2.
Yeah.
Play whatever your concoction is on 2 as well. It'd be nice.
Yeah. Or you can wait for the double concoction. So yeah.
Also works nicely with Shadow Step. Also maybe Field Contact. Who knows?
Yeah.
Good stuff. Next up, Potion Belt. 2 mana spell. Discover 2 concoctions.
So basically, this can turn into like a 5 mana, like a sprint, but you play it over 2 turns. It seems like, you know.
Yep. Or it's just like, super versatile against the Blessed Priest. Maybe this could be 1 or 2 deadly shots. This could be 6 damage. Could be 2 3-drops.
Oh god! Yeah, you know they're Blessed Priest. You take the deadly shots. Oh god, that's so good. All right, I'll give this a 4.
Yeah, I'm on you for a 4. I think Potion Belt's probably like our best concoction card. Hard to say this versus Concoctor, but this is real good. And you can prep this. Super nice.
1 second. Lambie, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, everybody. Thank you. Glad you joined the stash. So, yeah.
Next up, we got Potion Master Putricide. 2 mana, 1/4, undead legendary. After a minion dies, yours or your opponent's, add a concoction to your hand.
Sorry. After a minion dies, wait. Since these cards are hard to use, but this card can be so insane if you use it correctly, right?
Yeah, the card is clearly good. I have one reservation with the card, which is that this encourages me to trade, and I don't want to trade usually.
You gotta learn how to trade. It's hurted you, you know.
Like this is really good with Scribbling Stenographer and Wild Paw Knoll. There, it's real good.
Yeah. We're just giving 4s to every concoction card. I give it a 4. So.
All right. I'll go for a 3 on this, but it does seem good. I'm just trying to figure out exactly the right shell for the concoctions.
Okay.
Next up, Rotten Rodent. 2 mana, 2/1, undead beast. Battle Cry. Reduce the cost of all Death Rattle cards in your deck by 1. Incanters flow on a body for Death Rattle cards.
Seems terrible.
It is terrible. Thank you.
Okay.
I've tried to sketch this deck out. It is the most garbage deck you've ever seen.
I mean, death rattles suck in general. They sucked for a long time. They need to be so good to be playable, and they need to. I mean, like cheat it out much more. Like when there's a good death rattle, it's always like the one in Beast Hunter. It's because you have Sunken Saber, you know. So it's like
when this deck hits Rotten Rodent, it's maybe tier 3. When this deck doesn't open with Rotten Rodent, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, it doesn't even. It should do your cards in your hand too. You know, like what is this?
It's so bad.
What about Battlecry and Death Rattle reduced for Death Rattles? Maybe then.
Maybe we're talking then.
All right, yeah, it's garbage. Yeah,
so bad. Next up, Vile Apothecary, 3 mana, 2/4 undead.
What is this? This is so good. I play. This is like the armor pirate. But with like I mean, this is what they say. I saw some of these, but like the amount of value, you're gonna have to learn how to trade and how to and how to play the value game plan because it's like
I haven't learned to trade yet, and I'm not gonna learn now.
Yeah, okay.
I think this is a 2 though.
I've given it another 4. All 4s.
I think only goes in the 40 rogue. I don't think 30 rogues are slow enough to want this. That's all.
All right. I mean,
next up.
All right.
Noxious Infiltrator. 4 mana, 2/5. Poisonous. Battlecry. If a friendly undead died after your last turn, deal 1 damage to a minion.
1 damage to 1 minion?
But it's poisonous, so it kills it.
Yeah. I thought it was all minions for a second.
If it was all minions, you'd have my attention.
This seems bad. Just like, I mean, I have to run. What am I gonna run an undead deck for rogue? Like that's very swarmy, right?
You need undead minions in your deck in high enough quantities, and they have to be played, and they have to die, and you have to have 4 mana for the infiltrator and a minion you want to kill on your opponent's side of the board.
Yeah.
Goodness.
I mean, what?
So many.
Wouldn't I rather just run the 5 mana pirate that like puts it in because it's unconditional? Because this condition is gonna be way more awkward than people think to this, and your opponent's gonna be.
Is already terrible.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is a 1. This is awful.
Yeah, I'll give it 1. Yeah, 4 mana cards need to be OP. So, okay.
Next up, Scourge Illusionist, 4 mana, 4/4 undead. Death Rattle, add a 4/4 copy of another Death Rattle minion in your deck to your hand. It costs 4 less. So Scourge Illusionist cannot pull another Scourge Illusionist.
Oh, it can't? Oh, I was thinking that's why it'd be OP, because I could just keep playing Scourge Illusionists. But
4 mana, 4/4, add a 4/4 copy that costs 4 less.
So it doesn't come into play immediately, but this effect is kind of good. What?
You can sketchy this.
Sketchy was
sketchy information. Draws Illusionist, which draws another Death Rattle.
Oh, that's actually really good. So that's super reliable. But you have to run. Oh, good. Then you run an 8. Wait. So you run this and you run like some crazy 8 drop.
Yeah, you got Stoneborn General. You got Invincible. You got the new neutral Behemoth. Maybe works.
I mean, I don't know what the build is, but I feel this card deserves a 3+. Like it just seems the effect is very efficient.
I can go on a 3. Basically, this is like a mine rogue, but it's for big minions instead of for mines.
Yeah.
Or you could maybe just use mines and get 0 mana 4/4 mines. It's a thing, I guess.
Yeah. All right, yeah, I'll give it a 3. So.
Yeah, 3 seems good for me. It's a mine rogue card. And that brings us to Shaman. No rogue card costs more than 4. Feels good, man. Starting off with Scourge Troll. 1 mana, 1/3 undead. Death Rattles given to this minion trigger twice.
Okay. Can I skip this one again? Like, I don't know how you give Death Rattles to minions, so I need to, like...
Okay.
It's just like, how am I gonna...
Sure.
Yeah, evaluate this card.
I'm going to preemptively for this.
Okay.
But we'll return to it later.
Oh, I see. This is good.
Next card is Deathweaver Aura. 2 mana shadow spell, give a minion Death Rattle, summon 3/3 zombies, overload 1.
All right, I see the synergy.
So the idea is you play your troll on 1, you aura it on 2, and then it dies. You get 4 3/2s.
And then your opponent never plays a minion. Yeah, this card's so efficient though. I'll give it a 3. So
yeah, I'm on you with 3. It seems good. Because you don't need to point it at that Scourge Troll either. It can just be 2 mana, get 2 3/2s. 3 mana technically to overload.
Give your minions
Death
Rattle. No, I'm looking at the next card. I'm getting excited.
Oh, yeah.
I jumped ahead.
All right, so next card, Shadow Suffusion. 3 mana Shadow spell. Give your minions Death Rattle, deal 3 damage to a random enemy. Can go face.
This is like what's the spell damage shaman, but I don't need the spell damage. I just play this. I can
this is where Bioluminescence meets Bloodlust.
Yeah, this seems like a 4.
It's a Bloodlust. You can preload it onto the board.
I just have like 3 minions on the board. It's like a nightmare because I just turned all my minions into like OP skeletons, you know?
Yep. And on Scourge Troll, this will deal 6 for whatever that's worth.
Oh, yeah. All right, I'll give this a 4. This card's insane.
I'll go for a 3 on it, but I think it's still quite good.
Right.
Next up, we got Unliving Champion. 3 mana, 3/2 Undead. Battle Cry. If a friendly undead died after your last turn, summon 2 3/2 zombies. If you play a Scourge Troll and it dies, you can coin out an Unliving Champion for 3 3/2s.
Oh, that's pretty good. I'll give it a 3.
I like a 3 on this. So, the only weird part about this is making sure you have enough undeads, which I think Shaman does, especially because it can run Murlocs and Nightmare, Amalgam of the Deep helps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The Champion, very board floody, works really nicely with the Shadow Suffusion if you want to go ahead and preload your Bloodlust onto 3 bodies. That's nice. Big fan. Next up, Prescience. 4 mana Shadow spell. Draw 2 minions. For each of those minions that costs 5 or more, summon a 2/3 with Taunt.
This seems like you run it in Big Spell Shaman, or Big Minion Shaman. So, I mean, if that deck exists, this card tutors your minions, because you don't probably run too many of them, and allows you to summon... Oh, summon a... Oh, no, for each. Okay.
Yeah, so you can get 2 2/3s with Taunt.
Which is good.
Which is 4/6 with Taunt, draw 2 minions for 4, that's nice.
Yeah,
you can tutor your Gnolls with this, which is great if you want to evolve them. For 10 mana Gnolls.
Okay. So, if you run all... Yeah. I mean, it's hard to build a deck that this is good in, but the deck that this is good in, it's insane in. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, it's a difficult to build deck, but this is a really good card. I know it's a good card.
Yeah.
I'm going 3 on this.
I'll give it 3, yeah. So, okay.
I don't know if the deck works, but that card is very good.
Okay.
Next up, Harkener of Dread. 5 mana 2/2 Undead with Taunt. Death Rattle, summon a 6/6 Undead with Taunt.
So... Okay, so... Oh, it is Taunt. Okay, so it's...
You do have to hit the 2/2 first.
So that's... I mean, the 5 mana, 5/8 with Taunt that doesn't have Taunt sees play. I mean, it's a neutral. This card just seems objectively better than that because of the Taunt.
Well, you get 1/1 more up front, and you get 1 less attack from Burning Blade, but 2 more health.
Yeah, so if you trigger it, but like playing this,
it's definitely better than Burning Blade.
But at the same time,
the first body has Taunt.
Do I want to just plop this down on 5? And is it? I don't think I do. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. That doesn't feel very good to me.
And is there a way I can cheat it out in the new Shaman cards?
Not effectively. No.
Yeah. So, and do I run it because? Do I run it just because I need more minions for pre-science? Like, after a friendly dies. Oh wait. No, this is Warlock. I'm dumb. All right. Summon a copy of each minion in your hand. Ooh, so there's some synergies. I'm cheating, going ahead. I haven't looked at all
Sometimes.
These. I'll give it a 2 because I could see it seeing fringe play.
I'll go for a 1 on it. I don't think it makes the cut.
Okay.
Next up, we got Rotgill. 5 mana 3/6 Undead Murloc. Battle Cry, give your other minions. Death Rattle, give your minions +1/+1. So it doesn't hit itself.
So it gives all your minions have give your minions +1/+1.
Yes.
That's so annoying if your opponent doesn't like run a brawl card.
This thing's kind of a son of a bitch. If you go like, I don't know, turn 3 Clownfish.
Yeah.
And then
yeah. Oh god, that's so annoying.
Turn 4 Cheat Murloc.
Oh, this is going to be like the mage secret legendary where it just you're bored. Oh my god, or like that's so annoying.
Because you got this whole Murloc undead board floody deck with your Scourge Troll and your Unliving Champion and your Death Weaver Aura and your Shadow Suffusion. And then Rotgill, if you're flooding the board, is also really good.
If you just plop this down on a 3-minion board, is like, how does your opponent ever clear the board ever again?
It is such a pain.
Yeah, I mean, like you play this against Druid, the game's over. You know, they go scale and they see your board gets bigger and bigger, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I've convinced myself it's a 4. It's probably a 3, but
yeah, I'm calling between a 3 and a 4 myself. I'll say 3, just because there are some conditions attached to this. Next up, we got Blightblood Berserker. 8 mana, 3/8, undead, taunt, lifesteal, reborn, death rattle, deal 3 damage to a random enemy. Can't go face. And the 3 damage
do we have a way to cheat this out?
No.
But it's insane. But these cards suck. So I'm torn because on one end this card's so good, but it's also 8 mana and your opponent just goes Sylvanas and then you lose the game. So
it's really good if your opponent's got a lot of little shitters. Then it's gonna kill them and Reno you, and that's good.
Yeah. Like my experience knows these cards, if you can't cheat them out, just don't make it in Hearthstone 2022. Because like you play it, you're like, oh, I've got them. Then they go Sylvanas and you lose the game. You know,
spending 8 for this is painful.
But like, it's but you also you can cheat it out with the from the other side, but then you have to play 10 mana. How do you get to
cheat out your 8 mana card with your 10 mana card?
Yeah.
I'm going for 2 on this. There's like a very small chance this ends up making a cut somewhere, but having
I'll give it a 2 because like, I mean, its cost is a lot, its vulnerability is a lot. I mean, it has such a wide range of potential, you know. But like, you play it against the right deck, it's just like a living hell because it's like it's gonna die, it's gonna gain a lot of lifesteal, it's gonna reborn, so it's gonna die again. It's gonna be killing off your stuff while you kill it, you know?
Yep.
But then...
And then sometimes your opponent doesn't care because they're like a druid or whatever, and you just spend 8 mana on a 3/8.
Yeah. Or they go Devour, or they go Sylvanas, or they go... Or they run that 2 mana 1/3, and then it just sucks, so...
Or they just play alignment, and they don't give a shit because
yeah. So, yeah. Okay.
All right. Next up, Overlord Drakuru. 9 mana, 6/8 legendary... Rush and Wind Fury. After this attacks and kills a minion, resurrect it on your side.
Ooh, that's cool. But it's 9 mana. But it's also cool. It's 9 mana.
Yep. I stopped when I saw 9 mana, no way to cheat it into play.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's a 1 for me.
It's always like Blizzard prints these cards and I'm like,
I don't know what you're supposed to do with this. I just don't know what to do with it.
They have to, I mean, yeah, it's like hard to make it. These cards just are never make it, you know, unless they have a way to cheat it out. Because it's like, I mean, so if I compare this to other 9+ mana cards that are currently in the game, we have Devour, which Devour seems better than this.
It does.
We have, because it's kind of like you're absorbing the stats, but you don't have to take the damage. You don't have to deal with taunts.
Yep, you don't have to kill them.
Yeah.
You can kill 3 things.
Yeah. You have Wing Commander, which summons an entire board. What else? We have Sire, which wins the game. We have Jailer, which mostly sucks, but sometimes really strong.
And remember, this card really depends on your opponent's board too.
Yeah.
You don't just play Overlord and have it be good. Your opponent needs a specific board.
Yeah.
But this kills.
And if I know my opponent is running like this and like they've had a card since the Mulligan. I wonder what that is. Maybe I shouldn't play my 5/6s on the board here.
Well, 5/6, because if this hits 2 5/6s, this will die and not resurrect the second one. This is after it attacks. This has to survive the attack to resurrect it.
Oh yeah, so they play a 5/6, you rush it into it and kills it. That's what I'm saying. So
just seems awful.
Yeah, I'll give it 1. So we talked it through. Yeah.
And finally, we got From the Other Side. 10 mana Shadow Spell summons a copy of each minion in your hand. They attack random enemy minions and die.
Yeah, I mean,
preemptively wanting.
So this is like there'd have been 10 mana board on the box cards that and this is better when you run all these rough cards, but you don't play them on 7 and 9 because you need to do this to read this. So you had this weird situation where you're at 10 mana, but you didn't. What did you do for turns 7 through 9? You know, and you know what I mean. It's
you sat there and you looked weird on turn 7.
Oh wait! They attack random minions then die, so I don't get to keep them even. So they just attack the minions.
No,
so
they don't go face.
And so they don't have a good death rattle. They suck.
And if you don't have minions in your hand, and if your opponent doesn't have minions that you want to attack into, they're like Hunter had that 10 mana spell that summoned 3 5s, 4 of them, that attacked random enemies and could go face. They didn't have to have minions in their hand, and that could attack them in the face, and this doesn't do that.
All right, I'll give it a 1. So,
yep,
that's appropriate. So Shaman has this polarity between really, really good, like the low curve stuff, and all. I mean, they make a big archetype every season, and it always. What was the last big archetype that was actually not just like good enough, but like fringe, but like was actually dominant? Chat, anyone? I know cube lock, but anything after that? Anyone? Flark's Boomzuka. I remember that card.
Yeah, Boomship, Flark's Boomzuka.
I mean, I guess Beast Hunter is it's not quite big, but it's kind of like that. It's got the revive cards, so it's kind of.
Do you want to?
Yeah, but also
Scourge Troll rating, or 1 mana 1/3 undead with death rattles.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'll give it a 3. So because it's just got good synergy with. I mean, it's only a synergy with 2 cards, really.
Well, it's got synergy with a couple. Unliving Champion. It's a 1 mana undead that dies, so that gives her 3-drop. The dead activation.
Okay, yeah.
You can discover it with an.
It is undead, so it's interesting. It's card that's like just has massive synergy, but its own effect isn't that good. But yeah, so it's really like dependent on synergy. Yeah. Okay.
All right, so let's move on to Warlock.
Okay.
First up, Devourer of Souls. 1 mana 1/3 undead legendary. After a friendly minion dies, gain its death rattle.
This is awkward. This is another card I need to see like what death rattles they're giving.
I can give you a couple examples.
Yeah.
We have eggs. We got Nerubian Egg and we got Foul Egg. That is a thing. We have Mine Lock. So the way I'm looking at this is you can play this with Explosive Sheep and then your little imps. And you Tamsin's Phylactery the board, so they all gain the death rattle. You kill your Explosive Sheep, which kills your imps, and then all those mine death rattles go into the Devourer of Souls. And then if the Devourer of Souls dies, which it can after that, then it triggers all those mines again.
The more you talk about this combo, the more I'm convinced this card sucks. Because it's like, well, why would I just have Tamsin's Phylactery already? I don't need this like convoluted multi-combo, like 1-drop. You know, I don't know.
I've wondered about that. It can make the combo deal way more damage.
I mean, the
I just don't know
combo.
if
I
you
mean,
need the
I know
combo to
right
do
now we
anything.
need Defile, which is like annoying. So, but like the combo just doesn't have damage problems usually. You know, it's speed problems and reliability problems. So, I mean, I seem to see this more as like, is there some sort of tempo death rattle deck, or is there like a 6-drop but taunt?
You can also do eggs and naval mine in like an imp block. You can use it there.
I'm gonna give this it's a 1-mana 1/3 undead, so I'm gonna give it a 2 because it's like it might with decks need 1-drops, so and it's got something, so
Yeah.
trigger.
I'm giving it a 2.
Oh,
So next
trigger
up,
friendly dinner. Okay, that's an egg card.
so next up we got Shallow Grave, 2-mana, trigger a friendly minion's death rattle, then destroy that minion. So it kills the minion, you get its death rattle twice.
All right, so I get to go
All
coin
sorts of
egg and then
eggs.
get 2 eggs on turn 2.
Yeah,
And
you can also
then-
use it with mines for
Oh, so
damage.
now I can use this with Devourer of Souls. All right,
Yep.
now I'm already guys. Yeah,
And
so
you can also use this with Mistress of Mixtures if you want a little more life.
okay. All right, I'll give this a 3. So
Yeah, 3 seems kind of good. So I'm actually, might sound crazy, but there is a possibility for a Naval Mine Egg Imp Warlock. Because Naval Mine and Shallow Grave, that's 8 damage.
So you do this instead
That's
of
kind
curses?
of a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Instead of curses, you do eggs and Devourer of Souls.
But you sometimes
And
just
maybe
tempo the
the-
Devour Souls as a minion tempo, so it's kind of versatile there.
And you can also use the Graveyard, the location that the Warlock has, that
Okay.
3 mana, destroys your lowest attack minion, summons a 4/4 at the end of your turn for 3 turns.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think it's good.
Okay.
This card's good. Next up, Scourge Supplies. 3 mana, draw 3 cards, choose 1 to discard.
I think in a bubble this is bad, but if there's cards that like if you have a deck that has cards you don't mind discarding, the fact that you could choose one actually could be really strong, right?
So there are some discard synergies, but I just look at this as a better Arcane Intellect.
Yeah. So yeah, an Arcane Intellect often sees play because Mage just needs that card draw so badly because it's not as efficient as other card draw in 2022. But
Warlock
yeah.
does have Rod. This is 3 procs on Rod.
Oh, that's a good point too. Yeah,
nice.
so you can and also if you're a cycle deck, you don't mind the discard, right? Because sometimes you want to just like cycle through your deck to get to your combo. If you like, let's say you've already had a mine die, you get a mine, you could just discard the other mine, stuff like that. Oh, this might be really good. Okay,
I'm giving it a 3.
I've upped my to a 4,
Alright.
but we'll see.
There it is.
All right.
Next up, Walking Dead. 3 mana, 2/5, Undead Taunt. If you discard this minion, summon it.
Yes, it's so good if I can get that off Scourge Supplies. Like it's busted.
Oh, sure.
I mean, obviously that's a fringe, so we'll see how many of these cards there's like, but if you can reliably discard it.
I'm going to go with God, I want to give it a 1, so I probably just will.
I'm gonna give it
I know-
a 2. So
Yeah, there is this world where somehow discard Warlock works. Next up, we got Twisted Tether. 4 mana shadow spell, destroy a minion. Give its stats to a random undead in your hand.
oh, this is like Righteous Defense, but
Yeah.
it destroys it. Righteous Defense sees play. It is 4 mana. It is only undead though, so
Yes.
a lot of
It costs
ifs.
more mana than Righteous Defense, and you
Yeah.
have to hit an undead.
And the 2 mana Fire spell is a card, so I feel like I'd rather have that. I'm gonna give it a 1. So
Yep, I'm also going to give it a 1.
as the more things we said, yeah, okay.
Next up, Amorphous Slime. 5 mana, 5/3, Battle Cry, discard a random undead. Death Rattle, summon a copy of it.
So I can discard this guy.
You can
And
discard the
then
2/5
I get
with
this,
You get the
and then
2/5. Then this dies, and you get another 2/5.
that's kind of cool. I mean, it seems like there's one. I mean, the problem with this is not that this idea isn't strong. It's just that right now there's one card this has synergy with, right? So
Well, there's also the idea of this. I think is you're supposed to discard very large undeads.
That's a
You're
good point.
behemoth.
Yeah.
You're invincible.
Okay.
The real problem I've run into is I've tried Theorycraft in this deck, and your undeads they're low in number, and I don't know if they actually win the game. And that's a big problem for
Yeah, I
this.
see what you're saying. Yeah.
You run into some consistency problems, and then you may not win the game even if you do the thing.
Yeah.
It's
cool,
it's
though.
a good card for the archetype. I just think the archetype sucks. So
I'll give this a 2 for now. So
yeah. Next up, Savage, and I don't know how to pronounce this. I'm just gonna say Mirjar. 5 mana, 7/7, undead with rush. Battlecry, discard 2 cards.
So I could discard. I see. I could use this discard, or I could use my Amorphous Slime to discard this, and then it has a 5/3 with a death rattle, summon a 7/7 with rush.
True.
I don't know. It's I mean, if it's a lot of stats, and so if you have good if you can get like this Soul Barrage. Oh, and I don't know. Yeah.
I hate discard Warlock personally. I'm giving this a 1, but
I can handle the RNG. I don't know. I need to see the whole package. I'll give it a 2. So I'm just
next up, Soul Barrage, 5 mana shadow spell. When you play or discard this, deal 6 damage, randomly split among all enemies.
it's just costed because this card's like insane to get discarded and so bad when you play it. Like
Yeah,
it's
5 mana for 6. Not so great.
Yeah.
I'm going 1 on this too.
I'm gonna just continue my giving all discard
All
cards
discards
too.
too.
Yeah. So
Next up, Infantry Reanimator. 6 mana 4/4, Battlecry, resurrect a friendly undead, give it reborn. More pushing towards this big archetype, if you can cheat an undead into play.
yeah. I mean, if Void Lord was an undead and I could play this, it's insane, right? So this card, hard to make work currently, but the effect is batshit. Even if you just get it, like if I just put this on, this Scavenger Savage here, or even if I put it on this Walking Dead, it's not bad. Like that's like you get the 6/2/5 taunt with Reborn. So I'm gonna give this a 3.
Okay. I'm gonna give it a 1 against my better judgment. I do not believe in the archetype.
Okay.
Next up, another payoff for that archetype, however. Dakan Drethir. 8 mana 6/6 undead with lifesteal. At the end of your turn, deal 6 damage to the enemy hero.
Is that really good? I feel like that might be really good. I don't know. Like you play this, it's super annoying, and you just revive. I mean, if you have it's a revive, and then I mean, you could literally run this as your only undead minion, and then just keep reviving it as your win condition. I mean, it's
Which
a
is
lot
all
of,
well and good, but you got to spend 8 mana to play this, and then
Yeah.
those 6 drops are dead in your hand until you do.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You can also discard it with Slime. It isn't undead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna
And
give
you
it
can
a
also
3.
discard.
I'm yeah, the slime is
Behemoth
actually
pulls this from the deck.
yeah. Okay. I mean, this stuff is probably gonna suck. Yeah, there's not enough synergy. Maybe it's
I'm
good in
sticking to my
wild
1.
where you have more discard synergy. There's actually so little discard synergy, right? Like you
There
have
is so little discard.
Amorphous. Like that's the problem with the discard stuff. They give you it, and they just don't give you enough synergy because we have Amorphous Slime and we have. But I mean, the Scourge Supplies is good. So I don't know. It's like I think there's some good ideas that just aren't. There's not enough synergy to make them actually good. But so
I just think the plan is slower and less efficient than Curses, or Imps, or Phylactery. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't see a reason to play this over those, and I don't see these cards just slotting into those decks. So I don't have enough faith in
So
it.
you have to be able to probably see like win on board early if you're but sometimes, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, okay, it probably sucks. So
Next up, moving to Warrior.
but so
I just think the plan is slower and less efficient than Curses, or Imps, or Phylactery. That's all. I don't see a reason to play this over those, and I don't see these cards just slotting into those decks. So I don't have enough faith in
So
it.
you have to be able to probably see like win on board early if you're but sometimes, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, okay, it probably sucks. Everyone, if you made it all the way to the end, chances are you really like this content, so thank you. I'm glad you enjoy it. If you want to show your support of the live content, feel free to like and subscribe. Liking and subscribing always helps the algorithm to show that you like it, so the thing is more likely to give it to other people. In addition to that, if you are always wanting a NohandsGamer video, but some days I don't put one out because I don't know what to do, we have another channel, which is the NohandsGamer VODs, which is the raw, unedited content from my Twitch, where you get to see everything on the UTAB format. I highly recommend you go check that out, so you can get your NohandsGamer fix every day, even when I don't put out a normal YouTube video. Hope to see you guys in the next video.